It's taking the same sort of formula, but then inverting it and making it evil.
Wait a second. Penn Badgley has reignited a conversation fans thought was long over. His recent comments about working with Blake Lively on Gossip Girl, combined with remarks Blake made years ago, have fueled fresh online debate about their time on set. Fans are now revisiting old interviews, searching for hidden clues, and questioning what was really happening behind the scenes. Sometimes, one new interview is all it takes to rewrite an old
things
story.
in her way.
You were dating Blake Lively. You were dating Serena on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel like you were able to separate your actual job from your reality and actually able to grow in your 20s? Or did it all feel like it was kind of merged?
I mean, that's a great question because it was the struggle.
The conversation traces back to a 2009 magazine interview that has resurfaced online. When asked about working with her Gossip Girl co-star Penn Badgley, Blake Lively recalled that she wasn't happy when he was first cast and said she initially reacted negatively before they got to know each other. The interview has since fueled renewed discussion among fans, especially after Penn's more recent comments prompted people to revisit old interviews. While some online interpret Blake's remarks as revealing tension behind the scenes, others argue they reflected a first impression that later changed, reminding viewers that early working relationships often evolve over time.
You need that. You need that for the entertainment and the grit. But this stuff does happen, and it's good because we do address these issues. It does open the door for conversation.
The controversy didn't end there. Some critics argued that Blake received opportunities they felt she hadn't fully earned, though that's a matter of opinion. According to this narrative, even if she and Penn later built a better working relationship, the early tension may have already shaped the atmosphere on set. It raises a bigger question. Can first impressions leave a lasting impact long after people move on?
View him negatively.
The point is not about Gossip Girl. The point is that by the time I was 20, I was feeling real disillusioned and dried up and tired of being in Hollywood, of acting.
The resurfaced 2009 interview has become a major talking point online. Some commentators argue it offers insight into how Blake Lively has handled certain public disputes, drawing comparisons between her early comments about Penn Badgley and later controversies. They believe they see a recurring pattern, while others caution that these conclusions are based on interpretation rather than confirmed facts. As fans revisit old interviews and newer headlines side by side, the debate continues to grow. Whether those similarities are meaningful or coincidental remains a matter of opinion, keeping the conversation alive.
I also had a very long and difficult relationship in my teen years. That marked me, and I actually remember thinking when I got out of it at 19, I was just like, that was a way to start it all. Oof. I wonder what effects it's going to have on me.
Fresh comments from Penn Badgley have reignited interest in his time on Gossip Girl, sending fans back to old interviews and behind-the-scenes stories. After years of speaking only briefly about that period, his recent reflections have prompted many viewers to reconsider how the cast's early working relationships developed. Online discussions have linked his remarks with Blake Lively's past interview comments, though people disagree on what they actually reveal. Some believe the interviews provide added context, while others argue they're being overanalyzed years later. Whatever the truth, the renewed attention has revived a long-dormant conversation, proving that even a few carefully chosen words can reshape how audiences view a chapter of television history long after the cameras stopped rolling.
One of the reasons I didn't like dating was because of what it seemed like young men, boys, men need to sort of, how they need to behave and act, which always felt real corrosive and toxic and coarse and just calloused.
The debate surrounding Blake Lively has intensified after fans began comparing Penn Badgley's recent reflections on Gossip Girl with the ongoing public dispute involving Justin Baldoni. Some online commentators believe there are similarities between the two situations, while others argue the comparisons go too far and rely on speculation rather than confirmed facts. During the height of the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni legal dispute, an online petition surfaced calling for Justin to be removed from professional organizations, drawing significant attention across social media. The petition quickly became a topic of discussion, with users debating who created it and what motivated it. As more people revisited older interviews and recent headlines, theories spread rapidly across the internet. Whether those connections reflect reality or simply online speculation remains unresolved, but the renewed discussion has once again placed Blake, Penn, and Justin at the center of a highly polarized public conversation. The story took another unexpected turn when online users noticed that a petition circulating during the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni dispute was reportedly filed under the name Guinevere Beck. That immediately caught fans' attention because Guinevere Beck is a fictional character from You, the series starring Penn Badgley. The discovery sparked widespread speculation across social media, with many users debating whether the name carried any hidden meaning or was simply a coincidence. No verified evidence has established who chose the name or why it was used, but the connection fueled countless theories, reaction videos, and online discussions. As the internet searched for answers, the petition itself became a story, showing how quickly a single detail can ignite a much larger debate. As online discussions grew, many fans began drawing their own comparisons between Penn Badgley and Justin Baldoni, pointing to perceived similarities in their careers and public personas. Some commentators argued the situations reflected a broader pattern, while others cautioned that these conclusions were based on interpretation rather than confirmed evidence. Penn's recent reflections have nevertheless renewed interest in his early Gossip Girl experience, prompting viewers to revisit older interviews and reconsider how those working relationships developed. Years after the series ended, the conversation continues to evolve, with every resurfaced interview adding another layer to the debate. Whether these connections are meaningful or simply the product of online speculation remains unresolved, proving that public narratives can take on a life of their own long after the original events have passed.
You never actually got a good look at Blake Lively.
No, I know. I wouldn't recognize her in the street.
Just a blur.
Reports and interviews have fueled renewed discussion about the working relationships on set, especially between Blake Lively, Penn Badgley, and Leighton Meester. While fans have long speculated about off-screen tension, the show's executive producers have said Blake and Leighton were never close friends despite playing inseparable best friends on screen. Various behind-the-scenes accounts also suggest they mostly kept their interactions professional between scenes. Leighton was often described as focused on her work, choosing to avoid unnecessary conflict and concentrate on filming. That approach has led many viewers to wonder whether maintaining distance was simply the easiest way to navigate a demanding production. Although stories about the cast continue to resurface, many details remain disputed, leaving fans to separate documented interviews from internet speculation. Sometimes what happens off-camera becomes just as fascinating as the story viewers watched on screen. What happened behind the scenes has kept fans talking for years. Gossip Girl executive producer Joshua Safran later shared that he didn't realize Blake Lively and Penn Badgley had ended their relationship until months after the breakup, saying the pair kept their personal lives remarkably private from much of the cast and crew. That revelation has fueled ongoing discussion about how carefully they managed their privacy while continuing to work together professionally. Some commentators interpret that secrecy as evidence of a strong desire to separate public image from private life, while others see it as a practical decision made by two actors navigating a high-profile relationship. Whatever the motivation, their ability to keep such a major life event out of the spotlight surprised many fans and highlighted just how little the public often knows about what happens behind the scenes. Over the years, stories about the Gossip Girl set have fueled debate over whether cast dynamics were divided or simply misinterpreted. Some former insiders and online commentators have claimed there were social cliques and shifting alliances, though many details remain disputed. Similar discussions later emerged around the production of It Ends With Us, where conflicting public accounts led fans to compare the two situations. Supporters on different sides have offered sharply different versions of events, making it difficult to separate first-hand facts from speculation. What remains undeniable is that once workplace rumors take hold, they can shape public perception long before the full story is known, leaving reputations caught in the middle.
Do you feel like you're constantly needing to prove yourself in some manner? Otherwise, what are you doing?
What looked like a real-life fairy tale behind Gossip Girl may have been far more complicated than fans ever imagined. Penn Badgley has revealed that dating Blake Lively often felt like living inside a never-ending performance. As fame exploded, he struggled to separate his real identity from Dan Humphrey, admitting the pressure became emotionally draining. While he has credited Blake with helping him avoid destructive habits because their relationship was alcohol-free, that same relationship also became a major source of stress and anxiety. The most shocking twist came after their breakup. Penn and Blake secretly ended their romance but kept filming together for nearly 2 years without telling the cast or crew. They continued shooting intimate scenes while pretending everything was fine. Penn later admitted that kissing Blake during their relationship felt natural, but after the split, those same scenes became the most awkward and painful moments of his career. According to this narrative, he stayed silent while Blake
if I'm really trying to process this reality of what somebody's doing. Like this is awful. Awful. Worst of humanity, really, right?
protected the image of their perfect romance, leaving him to carry the emotional burden. Supporters of this view argue that Penn spent years watching Blake's public reputation grow while feeling unable to share his own experience because of her influence and the star power surrounding her. They believe this silence explains why he rarely discussed that chapter of his life. Critics also point to what they see as a repeated pattern in Blake's professional relationships. They claim she reacted negatively toward male co-stars or collaborators she didn't choose, first with Penn and later with Justin Baldoni. The accusation is that she sought greater creative control, and when conflicts arose, she allegedly influenced others behind the scenes by spreading negativity and isolating those she clashed with. They also reference Blake's own past comments about initially disliking Penn's casting as evidence that tensions existed from the beginning. Whether these claims represent the full story or only one perspective remains debated. But one thing is undeniable. Once fans began connecting these moments, the glamorous Hollywood romance looked far less like a love story, and far more like a carefully managed performance. What if the biggest Hollywood scandal was hiding in plain sight all along? As controversy surrounding Blake Lively intensified, many critics began connecting old stories with newer allegations, claiming the same pattern kept repeating. According to those critics, the conflict with Justin Baldoni mirrored what allegedly happened years earlier with Penn Badgley. They argue Blake spread negative stories behind the scenes, turning cast members against Justin. Fans pointed to actors, including Jenny Slate, unfollowing him on social media